morning and welcome to today's Global Press Review for the 12th of November 2024. Today we begin in Nigeria with the Punch. Petrol pump price may drop as Dangote marketers sign deal. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has secured an agreement with Dangote Petroleum Refinery to lift products directly. This, according to the association, will ensure the availability of petroleum to Nigerians at a cheaper rate. IPMAN's national president, Abubakar Garima, announced this at a press briefing on Monday in Abuja following a meeting of the National Working Committee of the association. The rest of the story can be read on page 2 and page 23 of the newspaper. From the Punch, we take a look at what Vanguard Steel in Nigeria has for us today, with value of unsold goods rises 357.6% to 1.24 trillion naira. The declining purchasing power of consumers has led to a 357.57% rise in the inventory of unsold finished products of manufacturers in Nigeria to 1.24 trillion naira in the second half of 2024, compared to the 271 billion naira recorded in the same period last year. The rest of the story can be read on page 6 of this newspaper. Now, Daily Trust talks Ondo governmentship, politicians woo voters with cash food. As the Ondo state governorship elections holds this Saturday, reports of politicians attempting to sway voters with food items and cash have surfaced. Daily Trust correspondent observed that political parties are distributing staple goods, including rice, noodles, maize, and fertilizers across local communities as part of last-minute attempts to sway voters across states. Now, let us leave Nigeria and take you over to Ghana. Let's begin with the business analyst shaping economic decisions. Cedi to weaken further in coming weeks as demand pressures heighten. The Ghana cedi will continue to weaken in the coming weeks due to heightening demand pressures as investors price in uncertainties regarding the rising inflation pressures. This follows a moderate depreciation last week. The cedi continued to face downward pressure last week, driven by heightened corporate demand and the broader market sentiment surrounding the US elections. The story continues on page 3 of the newspaper. Still in Ghana, we take a look at the National Enquirer, crusading for fairer democratic governance without fear or favor. Mahama reassures Ghanaians, says free SHS is here to stay or secure proper funding to enhance its quality. John Dramani Mahama, the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress (NDC), has assured Ghanaians that the free senior high school policy will continue under his administration with dedicated funding to ensure its sustainability. The rest of the story can be found on page 5 of the newspaper. Lastly in Ghana is the ABC News on the side of truth. Unemployment, Akufo-Addo records better than Mahama, IPG reveals. The think tank Institute of Progressive Governance, IPG, has advised former President John Dramani Mahama to stop misinforming the general public that unemployment situation was better during his time as a president than it is today. Using the data from the World Bank and the Ghana Statistical Service, IPG explains that unemployment situation today is rather far better than it was during the period Mr. Mahama presided over the economy. Story continues on page 3 of the newspaper. Now let's take a look at what Cameroon papers have for us today. The Guardian Post Daily, cherished by many, haunted by some, read by all. Quality training attracts over 1,000 freshmen to Yaoundé International Business School. YIBS officials teaching staff pose with freshmen after matriculation ceremony. The rest of the story can be read on page 3 of the paper. Still on the Guardian Post daily, traditional council kingmakers petition DO decries sabotage on chief designate. Notables of Mayemen village in Ngutsi subdivision, Kupe Maninguba division of the Southwest region have again decried what the term lies telling sabotage and blackmail on the person of their chief designate Besong William by those they have described as detractors. The rest of the story can be read on page 6 of the paper. And lastly, on the Guardian Post, in 67th PC Day message, moderator apologizes to church, pleads forgiveness. The moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon PCC, the retired Reverend Dr. Funky Samuel Foba, has apologized to Christians of the church, pleading for forgiveness in any way he might have erred or wronged anyone while serving as chief shepherd. The rest of his apology can be read on page 5 of that story. For international front page, we take a look at the Wall Street Journal of the United States of America. Stars and stripes shine for nation's veterans. New York City's Veteran Day Parade marched up Fifth Avenue on Monday to honor members of the nation's military. Events were held around the country, and President Biden laid a wreath at Arlington National Cemetery. We end today's press review with the UK's Daily Mail. Welby must quit after failing to act on abuse, says Bishop. The Archbishop of Canterbury's position looked increasingly untenable since last night after a senior bishop told him to resign. The story continues on page 6 of the same newspaper. Ladies and gentlemen, and that brings us to the end of today's global press review for the 12th of November 2024. Stay tuned to this channel and of course, stay blessed.